So this is a home that I bought with my brother and his family last year, and I was fortunately able to fulfill a lifelong dream and put an art studio in on the space. There's also plenty of obviously outdoor space to work if you want to work in outdoors, plein air as they say. It's about 5 acres. Could be 11 acres by next year. It's 20. It's the summer of 2021 right now, and we'll head in to the main space here. This was formerly a metal shop, which is fortunate because everything is built really solid, and it has a industrial HVAC with circular fans, which keeps the vapor and any sort of dangerous inhalants at bay. And it's over-engineered. It's probably 4 or 5 times as powerful as what I need for oil paint solvents, anything, acetone, anything like that I would use. One critical feature that I wanted to keep in mind is to keep the center of the floor clear. So there's about a 2-foot perimeter around the outside where any permanent fixture lives. Anything that's in the middle of the floor is portable or on wheels, can be folded up and put away so that the main area can be purposed for basically any project. So if I want to have a model, or if I want to have some gestural drawing, or put a large sculpture, anything like that would require a lot of space, I can use the main part of the space like in any way that I would need. This is a pallet table that I built. It's got the locking casters on it. It's made from an old glass coffee table that I got for $1, I think. It's definitely what I recommend for mixing paint. You want, the largest sheet of, beveled reinforced glass that you can find, probably painted a neutral color. And then, I put some shelves and some towel racks. I've got some mounts here if I want to film something, or if I want to work off of an image on either a tablet or a cell phone. Then similar to the pallet table is the general purpose table. I keep it's just the same real simple rectangular design. It's got a self-healing formica on the top, similar to a cutting surface you might see on a drafting table, so I can get it really messy, and no matter how nasty it gets, I can scrub it down and razor scrape it, and then I can keep my larger containers of paint or whatever on the lower level. I still need to get a fire safe. I don't have that yet, but that's coming soon enough. This is just a simple wooden rack for canvases, panels, and frames. You can see some lumber there. I keep a storage area down below for my scaffold, tarpaulins, a couple of shop vacs that can be either for cleanup or for dust collection. And I'll probably rebuild this at some point because I'd like to be able to fit larger pieces, but I think it's pretty functional for now. This is some neutral bond paper here, which is really good for rough two-tone sketches, or to kind of put down like newspaper, like if you're wanting to protect something. If you're only going to get one color of paper, get either gray or brown. If you're going to get black or white, make sure you have gray or brown first. That's just because a neutral tone is more useful because you can either go light or dark. Below that is a pedestal, which is upright for storage, but when it's horizontal, I can put a still life on it, or I could have a model pose on it, or if I need to if it's sturdy enough that it will hold almost any amount of weight. If I just have to elevate something in the center of the room for whatever reason, it's pretty useful. This is just a simple rack for a roll of canvas that's built on it's got the same locking casters, just out of 2x4s. I can roll it to any part of the room I need, and it makes it really easy to cut and stretch a piece of canvas whenever I need to do that. It's just made from some 2x4s. This is an old fence post. This here is essentially a French cleat. It's just a piece of steel that interlocks with itself. So if you're familiar with a French cleat, that is that. They're really portable. They're really inexpensive. I built the entire wall easel out of them over here, and then also have my movie screen mounted up there. They correspond to these clips. These clips are just the same shape in a 2-inch size, and they're really inexpensive. So you would mount that on the back of anything that you want to hang on the wall. You can use 2 of them to hang a small piece, or you can use them in conjunction with the larger length. And there's a whole bunch of solutions that are similar. They're the cheapest, easiest, lightest, most indestructible version that I've found so far. So that's what I use. Those are circular fans that work together with the HVAC to keep the air clean in the room. So if you're doing watercolors or water-based paint, you don't really have to worry about that. If you're doing anything with solvents or acids or oil-based paints, or anything with a MSDS warning about vapor, then you want to be real aware of the air circulation in your room. Then I have my 2 large saws. I've got a miter saw and a table saw that I use. If you're going to do any sort of work with frames, panels, or canvases, you really have to have the miter saw. The table saw is kind of optional, but it will pay for itself really quickly, because you can do your moldings, and you can reclaim scraps of lumber, and you probably know what a table saw is. The important thing to note about these is that I do have the portable dust collection if I need it, but what I prefer to do is use these wheeled carriages, and I do my woodworking outside, just on the other side of the rollaway door there. And then that way I can cut everything I need to cut, and clean my saws off and wheel them back, and it saves me a lot of time with cleanup. It also allows me to take them on site if I need. So if I need to wheel them over another part of the property, or I want to put them in the truck and I want to drive them on site, it makes it real easy, as opposed to building them into a bench. If you're doing any kind of woodworking, you need a lot of clamps. Not much to say about that. And the more clamps you have, the better your finished product will be. Pretty simple. Try to get a good variety of sizes. This is a workbench that I built out of an old fabric cutting table from a fabric store that closed down, and then the rest of the construction is just 2x4s, and then the feet are waterproofed in case I'm doing something that requires me to get the floor wet. Then I have these auto mechanic caddies here that are they're really inexpensive. You can find them anywhere. They're especially nice for this purpose because you can remove them and take them over to your work area, and then store like a project that's in limbo while you're, like, if you have a project that's taking multiple days, rather than leaving something spread out or trying to remember where your supplies are. If you have extras. I have a combination slat and pegboard, and it's laminated steel, so it's a lot better than the MDF, like the wood pegboard that you normally see. It's not going to fall apart like that kind of pegboard, and then you can get all of these modular inserts to put any kind of tool you want, and you can rearrange it anytime you want without a screwdriver or anything like that. So it's really good for an evolving space if you're going to start working with a new project. I prefer for oil paints especially. I prefer to hang them up. I use these little binder clips. It keeps the cap from drying out because it orients them facing down. It makes it easier for me to squeeze from the bottom up, and then it just allows me to inventory. I can see which colors I have and how much and where they're at, and I save a lot of time versus you know, digging through a drawer or a box for them. Same with my brushes. I'm pretty hard on paint brushes, but this way I can see, like, you know, how many new ones do I have, how many are at 50%, how many are, you know, are chipped out and ready to go. A note on brushes, a recommendation is to just, if you're not super familiar with painting, buy a whole bunch of really cheap brushes and then just let them fall apart, but notice how they fall apart. Like notice the difference between natural fiber and nylon, notice the difference between an angle brush and a straight brush. And you can buy brushes really cheaply, and they won't work, but just try to notice like how they don't work. Notice like when they fail, notice how they fail, and that'll allow you to make an informed decision on a more expensive brush. You need a lot of tape. You need a lot of charcoal. Get a lot of palette knives. For both for storage and for surfaces, I like to get the most rigid non-porous surface I can find. In most cases, that's going to be a tempered glass. Porcelain is also good. Formica is good. Anything that won't absorb water, anything that you can scrape with a razor blade, it won't react to bleach or acid or anything like that. It's not gonna. It's basically gonna be sturdy and rigid and smooth for a long time. You have a shop sink, of course, cleaning supplies, extra towels. I don't care if you clean your house or not, but if you don't clean your workspace, we cannot be friends. That's completely unacceptable. Yeah. So I have these are just some basic portable student easels. They're a nice size, and my favorite thing about them is they're lightweight and they fold up. So for the previously expressed purposes, I can stow them and reclaim my floor space anytime I want. In here, I have I don't do a lot of digital art, but if I do need to, I have the gear for it, and I'm always looking for somebody to give me tips, because that's probably my weakest point is digital manipulation and understanding suffixes and all of that. There's a little drafting area. Pretty straightforward. I will get some more drafting equipment. I need like a true drafting machine and a stand-up desk, and this room will actually be repurposed less as a break area and more as a drawing room fairly shortly. But yeah, this is just ink pens, markers, mechanical pencils, all of that sort of thing for the drawing phase. Again, you know, compulsively collected. A note on supplies. I buy supplies a lot. I get gifted supplies a lot. I collect things at a pretty ridiculous rate, but don't let them pile up in your work area. Either gift stuff, get rid of stuff that you don't use, or have a cold storage where something that you're not currently working on can live up on a shelf and is out away from your work surfaces. That'll help you be a lot more efficient. Over here is basically just a break area to relax, read a book, watch TV, play a video game. I have some cabinets to store just random things that don't have a home anywhere else. And then if people in the house are being too loud, it's just kind of an escape. This isn't really set up yet, but it's close. And then of course, art is thirsty, hungry work, so I need to have beverages and coffee and snacks. And so I set this up in here as well. This just basically allows me to work for longer uninterrupted. I don't have to leave my studio space. I can come in here and make a snack. So that's all there is to that. So the purpose of this video basically is informational for past, present, and future collaborators. There's a lot of people in the Great Lake, Portland area who I've either grown up with or gone to school with or have done art projects with in the past, and I want to invite anybody that I already know, and tentatively also people that I don't know. If you're a person who's interested in Creative Commons and artist collectives, I want to invite you to work on things. I think to trade labor and expertise. I don't really care if you are a content producer for sale or if it's just a hobby. That doesn't matter. But I do like the idea that creative people aren't charging each other. So it's a collaborative project, and it could be collaborative in the the distribution and the sales as well. Specifically, things I can offer is if you want to work in analog media and you want to work on larger scales, you want to do things like, you say you're purely digital at this point and you want to make a transition to pieces that are physical and framed, and you want to understand like what a gallery will and won't display, and how heavy and how expensive and how time consuming it is to transfer an image to a physical form. I can be a lot of help in that. And just general things like I'm fairly knowledgeable about drawing and painting media generally, and elements of composition that travel across different forms. And then also I think it's a beautiful space just naturally. So if you want to come out and work in a natural environment, we're really close to a lake and also to several hilltop vistas. So if you want to do some landscapes on location, or you want to work in a natural setting for whatever reason, it's a good home base for that. So I suppose we'll link all relevant information in the description.